Hello, Georgia, and welcome to another episode of CVFS The News. This is the podcast, and for those who are watching, this is a very Merry Christmas, or should I say holiday? I don't want to trigger anybody. Special edition for CVFS News. As you could tell, I'm all decked out in the holiday spirit, but here on CVFS News, I'm going to go ahead and warn you, I do say Christmas. Merry Christmas, y'all. We are going to take a break next week. We are not going to do a show. I'm going to go on for today and just kind of tell you what we've got going on. There's a few things that I've noticed in the news, y'all, and they have royally upset me. A gender-neutral Santa. Oh, Baby, It's Cold is a date rape song. And the left's war on Christmas. Well, let me tell you, you guys have taken and fought against everything, and I am sick of it. The left, you cannot have Christmas. You know what? The Grinch stole Christmas, and at the end of that, he gave it back because his heart grew 3 times that day. But you heartless pieces of leftist, rotten, fill in the blanks. Use your own adjectives because, I try to keep this as nice as possible. But you guys it's just ridiculous that you've come this far, that you want a non-binary Santa, that you don't want him to be male. You want him to be non-gender specific. Leave Santa alone. My goodness, could you please? That's just ridiculous. Let Santa be a fat man, for goodness sakes. I mean, why? What does that have to do with anything? He's been that way for hundreds of years now, and now all of a sudden he's offensive. Why wasn't he offensive when Obama was in office? Why wasn't he offensive 20 years ago? It's just shut up. I'm sick of it. I am so sick of it. And if we're not careful, I said this 10 years ago, 7 years ago. I told my wife, it was 7 years ago, and I told her when the fight for legalizing same-sex marriages was just starting to hit, when it was just starting to come out, when they were just starting to talk about it, and I told her, watch out, because if you don't stop this, it's a slippery slope. And I said, sooner or later, you'll be having people advocate for pedophiles to marry children. And you know what? We see it already in the paper that pedophiles are humans too, and they just want to love somebody. And you know what? This world is sick. I mean, I tell you, sick, twisted individuals that want to make Santa non-binary. I tell you what, way to ruin Christmas for somebody. Hey, here's Santa Claus, and he's gender neutral. Sit on his lap. We're not quite sure what he is. No, that's just ridiculous. And then ginger people, not gingerbread men or ginger men. I can't even. They've got it so difficult to figure out. I can't wrap my head around it, and maybe it's because I've never been oppressed. That's what it is. I don't understand what oppression is. I can't figure it out, and I don't understand it. I don't know. And then there's no more snowmen. You can't make a snowman. You got to make snow people. Snow person. I don't know. This is ridiculous, y'all. Grow up. Quit being offended over the smallest things. You know what I'm saying? Just grow up. Let Christmas be Christmas. And if it offends you, then don't celebrate it. Shut up. Sit in your little corner and be quiet and let the rest of those that it doesn't offend go on. If something that offends me, I'm Christian, and you know what? Atheists, that by hating and non-believing in God, that offends me. But you know what? I don't go out and attack them. I let them be non-believers. And you know what? One day they'll be proven wrong. I'll be looking down and going, man, don't you wish? I just don't get it. But anyways, I ordered something off of Google. I ordered a new CD. I know, right? I went on Google Shop and I Googled for a new Christmas CD, and it came in. I was super excited about it, so I wanted to open it up on here. And I tell you, what, it's supposed to be a very Merry Christmas CD. And I wanted to make sure that it had non-triggering music on there, but I think this is what I get for using Google. You know how biased. I know for those listening to the podcast, but I'm confused. It says a very leftist holiday. They scratched through Merry Christmas and put leftist holiday. I don't understand. Hold on. Oh, let's just open it up and see what's going on the inside. All of these songs are approved by the left as being appropriate for the holiday season, but it's blank. There's not one. They've taken all the songs out about Jesus, so that nobody will be offended by that. So they've taken all the songs out, such as White Christmas, because it says white. Oh, okay. Baby, it's cold out because it's date rapey. Okay. Anything about snow because how it oppressed people back in the hood due to crack cocaine. Okay. This is very weird. It's just a blank CD. There's nothing on it. I'm very confused. Oh, I see, because there's no Christmas songs that the left can listen to because they all trigger. Oh, well, that makes sense. It's a very leftist holiday. There's nothing left to the holiday when the left gets their hand on it. This is what we're headed to, is a very leftist holiday, is where there's absolutely nothing left to the holiday. I get it. Okay, well, that's what I get from ordering it from Google, the biased Google. Man, I would put this on Twitter, but it probably would get removed. This is just a crazy and sick and twisted world we live in, that Christmas is under attack, conservatives under attack, and, you've got people who are good people being removed from Twitter, and, it's just, I'm so sick of it. And this other part of the show I wanted to talk about today was Planned Parenthood, and I was driving home from West Palm Beach. For those who knew, I was headed to cover the Student Action Summit for 2018 in West Palm, Florida. I got home more than halfway there. I was like in 45 minutes out, and my car broke down, blew the transmission. Got back here, didn't get to go to Student Action Summit, or SAS. Very disappointing. But on my way back, as I was getting back here, I kept thinking Planned Parenthood. And, I got to thinking about Planned Parenthood and Goodwill, and you see these people out there for Salvation Army, and I kept thinking, man, all these things have something in common. And the CEO of Goodwill and Salvation Army and Planned Parenthood have all made a living off of people who don't want something. That's right. You turn your stuff into Goodwill because you don't want it. And you turn your stuff into Salvation Army because you don't want it. And you go to Planned Parenthood because you don't want to have a child. And you have it aborted. And I stood on hold for a half hour with Planned Parenthood. And I'm going to get to the bottom of this. I want to know what they help you plan for as a parent. I'm going to tell them, I'm having a kid. Will you help me plan for it? Will you send me some books, some papers, some pamphlets, something to help me plan for having this child? I want to know, what do you help me plan for? And, what are you going to help me do? And I guess they can't call it anything but Planned Parenthood, because if they called it what it really did, it would be planned abortions. And that just doesn't roll off the tongue very well. It sounds very scary and horrible, but that's exactly what it is. I mean, they make $600,000 a year, the CEO does, off of abortions, and it's horrible, because someone didn't want their child, or the responsibility for the actions that they took place the night before. Obviously it takes some time, but actions that took place because of irresponsible sex, and now they want to get rid of their child. It's just, I just don't understand it. Where we've come to is, oh, you know what? I just don't want to be married anymore. Get divorced. Oh, I don't want to have this child. I don't want to be responsible for it. Yes, it was my fault. I had sex with this person that I just met, or I thought I loved. I don't want the responsibility of being a parent. Abort it. We just live in an irresponsible world these days, and it's a crying shame. That's what it comes down to. It doesn't matter whether you think it's a life or not. It comes down to irresponsibility and whether or not these people actually want the child. That's what it comes down to. And people argue, well, it's my body. And you know what? It has nothing to do with that, in my opinion. At the end of the day, is that people fight for abortion because people don't want to take responsibility for their actions. I was taught to take responsibilities for my actions. When I was in the military, if I broke something on the helicopter, I went to my NCO IC and said, hey, look, I broke this. What do I need to do? How do we fix it? And they would yell and cuss and scream at me, but we fixed it, and I didn't hide it, and I took responsibility for my actions. So I just don't understand people these days who can't take responsibility for their actions and use places like Planned Parenthood to have a living child, and have it aborted, and people who actually fight for this and stand and march, and it's my body and all of this different things. And yes, I agree with you. It's your body, but that you're just a vehicle. You're just carrying that thing until it's born. You're not. That thing is not. You argue with these people and they just don't see it. And that's the thing. I've talked with students and I've talked with people. Is the problem is you can't argue with these people because they're numb to it. They just don't understand. They have no belief system. They have no conscience. If they can truly, honestly kill a child, then what's the point? At the end of the day, how do you debate with somebody? How do you argue with somebody who's willing to kill a child? It's a crying shame. And there's more to come. I'm not done talking about Planned Parenthood. I'm going to find out what they actually help you plan for, because if not, then they need to change their name, because it's called Planned Parenthood for a reason. They do a lot, maybe. I don't know, but I know they do abort a lot of babies, and if that facility doesn't help you abort, like the one in Tallahassee that I tried to call, they will send you to a location that does. So I don't know, y'all. We're just in a crazy, crazy place. And you know what? I just wanted to do something different on this show, give you guys a Christmas special. There will be no show next week. I'm going to be out of town with the family, enjoying Christmas with my family, my kids, all of those things. Wishing everybody who listens to the show a Merry Christmas. Hopefully enjoyed our last show where we got to interview Wyatt on American Talk. Looking for some more people to be interviewed. Continue to follow us on Twitter, on Instagram, and have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, guys. And we'll be back on just after the first of the year. And like I said before, guys, I am so sick and tired of being annoyed by liberal media. You've heard it here. You've heard it first. Thank you for listening to CVFS The News.